Gina.
I am so
What's going on, everybody? All right, welcome to the live post-match fan reactions. I'm AJ, and yes, Atlanta United have drawn 2-2. It it's a very, very special first half, but yeah, all the action for Atlanta United anyway was in the second half, and yeah, it was definitely quite dire, I would say, in the first half. You know, lots of U-shaped passing, not much possession at all. Chicago Fire really just, dominating proceedings, but they weren't clinical in the moments that they really needed to be, and they couldn't put us away. And ultimately, we were able to hang around long enough, and that second half come out with kind of the fervor that most of the clubs that play us do. And yeah, there was a bit of a mentality shift a little bit, at least at the start of the second half. But yeah, it was still helter skelter. It's never just easy goings for Atlanta United, is it? But Moranchuk was able to slot one off of the post into the back of the net from a really good bit of a sequence by Bartosz Szlisz. He was able to win a ball, pretty much went on a kind of mazy run, able to find Miggy. Miggy was able to lay it off for Moranchuk, and Miggy made a selfless run to create some space so Moranchuk could take a shot, and yeah, very well taken. And a little bit of bouncer. Seems like that's kind of the way to be able to beat this keeper anyway. But yeah, you just can't stay in the game a little bit, in a sense that, yeah, Chicago, it was just too easy at times for them to score. Both of their goals, I feel like, just sliced through us, kind of like a hot knife through butter. Very simple. Not many intricacies. It's just get it out wide, get it in the middle, and there's a shot. Or their second goal, it was just too easy for them to get into the box. They breached it like nothing. And yeah, even with a masked Brad Guzan, which it's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting to see Brad Guzan with a mask, and also not with the captain's armband. I really hope that we get some kind of answers of what's going on there. Was it just because he, sat out the last match and maybe he doesn't feel like ultimately himself, so that talking to the ref, it might be a little bit difficult through a mask? I don't know, I'm speculating. But Miggy with the captain's armband in this match, and you can see him being more vocal, see him being someone that was trying to galvanize the group, especially after conceding that first goal. So, I think you do like to see that from an outfield player, but it's still, I think ultimately you kind of want a little bit more of a lively performance from the whole squad, especially this long of a homecoming. I mean, a very long away trip, and finally you're in front of your fans and you give that performance for the first half. I mean, it left a bad taste, at least in my mouth. I know I'm not the only one. Surely there were definitely other people that, yeah, it's just like, oh man, it's really hard to really be able to kind of stay positive on this team when they just keep crapping the bed. And that goal scored from a Olympico from the corner is embarrassing. That's just how many of those things are just constantly happening to Atlanta United. Like conceding within the first minutes of the game is unacceptable. But yeah, let's get some guests in here, or I think we only have one tonight, but it is our buddy Drew. So yeah, let's do that very shortly. Not much in the chat tonight, which I totally get. That's it is a school night as well, so it is not easy. I understand, but let's get Drew in here. Boom. Let's go. Drew, welcome in. Let us have your thoughts, man.
Not a horrible game, honestly. I like that this team is showing some fight, finally. We might not be getting the results we're looking for, but we're definitely fighting through adversity, and we're starting to scrap together some points and some good-looking efforts, at least. And that's a lot better than what we've seen through, like, the middle of the season, which was just really tough to watch. It was just, there was games you just wanted to claw your eyes out just because it was so hard to watch these games. But this team is starting to fight, and that, I like seeing that finally. The results will hopefully come here shortly, but if we keep fighting like this, the results will come.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that the at least from an entertainment standpoint, it's been marginally better, and yes, the grit is definitely growing, I suppose, and it is. Yeah, it's like at home though, that first half, difficult watch, especially to get scored on so early. Like, the fans were still in it in the beginning, but once just nothing was really happening, it was difficult. It just felt flat, and that possession difference was massive, especially at home. Not that we really are doing much with the possession anyway, but what was your take on that first half?
First half was very tough to watch, especially that early goal sucking the life out of the crowd, and you kind of go, "Oh crap! How are we going to respond to that?" And first half definitely wasn't good, but in my opinion, it wasn't as bad as it may have looked. I know Chicago is trying to be a very possession-heavy team. Greg Berhalter, we've seen what he did with the U.S. team. He wants Chicago to be a very heavy possession team. So we did really well, even when they had possession, of sitting in a good block formation, a mid-block, and kind of just letting them make mistakes. And we tried to take advantage of their mistakes. Now, we weren't able to do anything with it, but there was quite a few opportunities that we were able to break up plays, hit quick on the counter, and that sort of thing is not a bad thing to see. I don't like seeing it when we're at home, but it's something that is it's good to see that we're getting that structure and we're able to play like that in games where we don't have possession all the time. Now, second half was a lot better. We were able to take a lot of that possession and started hitting them in transition in other ways. So, obviously, first half was tough to watch, but I think there's some positives to take out of that first half, actually.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I agree. There was that chance from Miggy, sort of a chance, not really even a half chance at that point, but the Miggy through ball to Emmanuel Atl Utd, which slightly heavy, and keeper was able to get to it. But those are the ideas that we want to see. Those are the runs that we want Latte Lat to make and Miggy to pass and pass quickly. Because, yeah, it wasn't an obvious pass. It was, yeah, actually kind of nuanced. And, it wasn't where. I think this was the problem, though. Like we've mentioned before, it's a lot of the ball not going into the area that really suits the player that is receiving the ball, that is at the end of the play. And yeah, it obviously would have been better to play Latte Lat in on his favorite left foot, but it is what it is. But it is also, players on this squad. It's like they just can't give their teammates the right type of ball, and that's why it's constantly a U-shaped type of passing shape, in and around the box or around the defense, just around the horn really, and it's just because that ball doesn't arrive on the right foot for that player, and they have to pass it back. Like instead of allowing that winger per se to maybe get played into that strong foot so that they can get into an athletic position that they can take on their man and maybe get past him, or one of those things that it is, maybe it's expecting too much from this squad. But your thoughts?
Yeah, and I definitely agree. There's been an issue all year of just this lack of chemistry, this lack of connection between players. It's a lot of these, the right ball in the wrong area, or the right idea just not executed properly. And we had a lot more of those today. Is a couple of those balls over the top to Miggy. They're just that hair off, and that takes it away from being a chance on goal to a goal kick for them. It's continued. It's one of the most frustrating things about this team is you can see that they are so close to connecting all of these passes, all of these great chances, but they just can't seem to get that final push pass and start connecting the plays. Now, today we started to see a little bit better, and in the past two games we started to see a little bit better connection between players. We've seen Sleesh, Marinchuk and Almiron starting to combine a lot more. We're seeing a lot better connection, but we're still not getting enough connection with Latte Lat. And that is the most concerning thing, because he feels like he's on an island out there. He feels like there's not any good quality chances going to him. He's not getting service in a way that he can actually get meaningful chances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's absolutely starved. It's just like I'm trying to think of a ball that actually connected to him. I mean, it didn't happen,
There was one in the first half, like 35th minute mark, something like that, where it was him and Saba or him and Sleesh combined, and he tried to turn and shoot, and then it was blocked. That was the best chance I think I saw from him, and
and it's just it wasn't that good.
If that's all we have for him, it's not enough. It's not good enough.
Right, and it's that. It's just like it's just so obvious that in the final third we're completely lost in. There seems to be some confusion, I think, what Latte Lat actually wants to do with, I guess, what his teammates think he wants to do. And I think that's the golden question. Obviously, is if they could have figured that out, it would have been a lot different of a season already. But clearly, that's one of our main issues is that disconnection between the lines and between the striker position. But for the lack of comments in our chat, there's comments in our Instagram, and there's definitely interesting things that people are saying, and I'm curious your thoughts on this because Kieran Greenway 27 or Greenaway, he says head coach definitely out by Saturday if no win. If he isn't, it'll be a shit transfer window. My opinion, he should be out after that. What are your thoughts hearing that?
No. We gotta give him time, honestly. I know we got the star DPs in. We got that, and we all expected this team to be hit the ground running, guns blazing, but I think as a fan base, we all kind of missed some of the glaring issues we had with depth and with pieces in the midfield. And I think we need to give him this transfer window to see what he can be brought in and see what can help him. Because when basically your only options in the midfield are Bartosz Szlich, which love him. He's been playing outstanding recently.
Mm-hmm.
Tristan Muyumba and Will Reilly. That it's not good enough at all. We need someone to help us there. We need somebody that can combine. We need somebody that can cover more ground than Muyumba and is a little bit faster. Like Muyumba's passing is very good and he's good in tight spaces, but he does not have the foot speed for this team at all.
I think I hear you. I'm not sure. Maybe it's foot speed. I think it's that because he is available in the midfield. I think it's the dynamism. He is at least. I think he's drifting out left a little bit more within this kind of setup, so that he is affecting it in a sense that we're not looking as kind of static in the middle as we have been in kind of previous matches. And Will Reilly, when he came on, and obviously, him getting the goal at the death to, pretty much get the leveler was a massive thing. To get his first MLS goal in that fashion,
yes,
is incredible, and he'll remember it forever. That's for sure. And I think he is someone that can be, I think, a footmark for the future, because I think he has some skills that we can definitely use. But it is, I think, to your point, is that we need more from that 8 position. We need someone that can be maybe a goal threat, that can maybe assist a little bit as well, be more creative, especially kind of in these type of matches where we're at home. We can't be losing the possession battle for one, and also losing. Like that's the double whammy. Chasing the game for much of the game, and then as well, it's just you can't breach the middle. Like you need someone that can boss the game, and that's what's missing from that position. But as far as the second half, obviously we looked a lot better. What was your opinion on how we came out from the half?
I think we started that half way better. We started to kind of dictate the play, and that was something that we was lacking in the first half. Is we didn't put our foot on the ball and kind of start trying to play our own style. Mm-hmm. And once we started to establish basically what this team wants to do, we started to get chances. We started to create opportunities, and yes, our first goal was on a transition play, but that was after a really good spell of possession. We were able to then quickly turn the ball back over. Sleesh with a great driving run forward. That is exactly what I like to see from him. Is he makes a great driving run forward, plays a good ball, smart off to, and then Marinchuk takes a shot. And that's one of the things this team has not done much of. Is if you've got a half space, take a shot. We know this team has shooters on it. We know that Marinchuk has a wand of a left foot. He just needs to take some more shots. Miggy, Latela, Daba, they just, if they've got the half space, take a shot.
Yeah, and it's also, heads up earlier in possession. Like once you win it back, look forward instead of constantly looking backward. Because man, there are so many moments that I'm sure it's people are yelling at the screen, people are yelling in the stadium, where it's like there's an unmarked player and they're making a run and they're not being rewarded, and these players only have so many sprints in them before they stop running, and yeah, too many times again, like just play after play. Like yes, we were pressing a lot better, but issue is doesn't mean much if you can't do anything with the ball, and for much of the game we weren't. But for like about 20 minutes, after after the second half started, we played a lot better. But why was it so easy for Chicago to score that second goal?
I think we lost our structure at that point. We kind of we had just gotten our some of the subs on, and we kind of lost our structure for a second, and it was a play where they kind of pinged the ball around. They had been throughout most of the game going through slow possession games, and they started pinging the ball one touch passes really quickly, and I think once it got into the box, Morales made a poor step. He challenged a little too aggressively, and that was just the nail in the coffin. He was able to get turned, and it was basically an easy slide into the back of the net at that point. But we gotta, in those sort of transition moments, we gotta kind of figure out how to regroup quickly and kind of establish that line of confrontation, and to make sure they can't break us down that easily, because that was kind of embarrassing how easily they were able to one touch pass through our entire defense and then put it in the back of the net.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a very astute point, and it's because, yes, there was a little bit of, pretty much one player on pretty much every single line except for the forward line, just someone that just came in. But, yeah, that seems like when we're the most susceptible is, we almost got scored on right after we scored. There was that moment, and then it's, that you kind of have to do that professional foul. Whether because basically yellow card is better than a goal, and it's just I think at that point you take the foul, you regroup, and you definitely are able to at least get your shape back together. But I also heard from the crowd anyway, someone was like, oh, why is Amador still in the match? He's already on a yellow. And I was just like, yeah, that's like the least of my worry there. It's like not really a concern. Like Amador obviously, stayed in the match on a yellow. no problem really. Goal didn't really come from his side per se, but how'd you find him in this match? And yeah, he played pretty much like the back three at the end of the match when Edwards came on and Abram came off. But yeah, that comment on Amador, what's your feeling about that?
I didn't mind his game. The ref was definitely in the first half given quick yellows, and that was very much a concern. And you could see him starting to hesitate going into tackles
Mm-hmm.
because of how quickly that first yellow came out.
Yeah.
But it didn't affect him too much, as he definitely was still solid defensively, still able to kind of do his job, and that's one of the best things that has come from Amador is whenever he's playing, we know we have a solid player down that side of the field, and you can kind of rest a little easier, understanding that he'll do what he needs to do. He's not going to get beat easily. He's going to work his butt off. Now, coming forward, we still haven't seen the player we saw at the tail end of last season. He still isn't fully connecting with those wonderful crosses that he was putting into the box last season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's something that he's kind of been told to hold off, or it's a confidence issue, but he needs to go with those early crosses like he was doing last season. Those were dangerous, and they will continue to be dangerous because he does a great job of putting it in an area that's dangerous and letting somebody get to it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have players that are good at crashing the box. Atl is a really good player in the air. He's got really good hang time and can get up for somebody that doesn't look as tall and as big as some of the other strikers we've had. He's very good in the air.
Yeah, it's that. It's he's shorter than Miggy, and yeah, he's definitely he's jumping very, very, very high, and that hang time, yeah, agreed. It is that like even Latte Lat, he hung one for Miggy at the back post with his right foot that Miggy just was maybe a little late on, but. And it was a little wide, I think. But those are the ideas that we want to see. That's how you break down a defense that's deep lying, and especially when they've sat back, they basically dared us, and yeah, for most of the match we didn't have answers until a really miraculous corner, and it was, I think, yeah, just really well placed. In order for Reilly to be able to stab it home. Yeah, what was your feeling when that ball went in? Was it relief? Was it like, okay, finally? Was it like, okay, well, we finally did something?
A little bit of both, with relief and the excitement, just because I think this team deserved the result. I think we had been, with how we had played in the second half, we had deserved at least one more goal out of this game, just because there was so many chances. And going back to that Latte Loth cross into the box to Miggy, I want to see more of him doing that. I want to see him kind of not dropping as deep into the midfield, but maybe pulling out to the wings, swapping with Saba occasionally, or with Miggy, and kind of creating chances like that. Because that gives the defense a different look, and it gives them one more thing to think about. And I think we're starting to get to where we want to be, and great goal by Will Reilly, great corner by Marinchuk to put it in a beautiful, just put it right on the dot and basically say, go get it, somebody. And we were able to scramble it in, and Reilly was able to pounce on it, and way to get your first goal. That's a great moment for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to go back to your lat point where, maybe he does peel out wide a little bit more. Maybe Miggy or Moranchuk, if Moranchuk can get into the box enough, can occupy one of the center backs in order to, I think kind of cause a little bit of confusion so that maybe, is it a center back? Is it a fullback? They don't know whether to, mark Lat or not. And that really, I think, asks the questions that we need to in matches to be able to involve Lat more in the match. But yeah, it does seem like Lat can get a little stationary maybe in the box. He's definitely not one of those kind of false nines where he's going to come back into the game and try to get a few more touches and whatnot, which he was doing a little bit more of that earlier in the season, trying to get more touches. It looks like he's getting fewer touches now. But yeah, it's just, it's been a minute since we scored from, open play, which I think it was like 300 minutes. We finally did with Moranchuk. But yeah, yet another, set piece or a dead ball situation that we scored from. Is it worrying that besides a shot from distance outside of the box, we can't seem to score inside the box from open play?
Yes, it's very worrying, and again, it's this. We're putting hope crosses in again and again, and we're not trying to really try to build through the middle a little bit. I think that's something we need to try a lot more of, is try to break down teams through the center, and then if there's no way, go out wide and kind of make that run into the end line and cut balls. Put it in a cut ball. Make sure that you have people in the box to crash for that ball.
Yeah.
Because, especially on Lennon's side, it's a lot of just cross in there, hope that somebody will get on it, and it's at the back post and nobody's there. And it's happening way too many times, and we can't keep doing it. It doesn't work. We gotta try something different.
Yeah. It's exactly that, where I think a lot of times we're way too far from the box when we first start. We're not being incisive enough, like you're saying, through the middle. In that, those cutbacks definitely are those varied type of chances that we don't do enough. We don't do enough of the front post type of actions as well.
Yep.
Balls lower that can confuse defenses, and that's really where the goalkeeper can't really affect a lot of proceedings, because if he has no chance of getting to the ball, well, then it definitely ups your chances. And so that's really where it's such a wonder, because it's also, yes, everybody in the stadium pretty much knows what Lennon's gonna do, and yet none of our players crash that back post, and it's just baffling, absolutely baffling.
Yeah.
But there's a couple more comments here on our Instagram here, where Saba de Boss says, need to start getting 3 points each game if we want any chance at making playoffs, not all these 1 point results. I mean, do you feel like there's still a chance to make the playoffs?
There's still a chance, but at this point, I want to see this team keep fighting. And if the results don't, like the wins don't fully come, I at least want to see this team competing through the 90 minutes, like we saw today, scrapping out a point. I want to see us trying different things, seeing what we have in our youth. We got a good look at Brennan again today. He did very well. He was very dangerous, kind of putting that putting the defense on their heels a little bit and creating space. And he was able to get some chances. Hopefully we can see a little bit more of him. Reilly came in and did okay. He wasn't perfect, but he did get that goal, and great job on him. I want to see what we have before we go out and try to spend a bunch of money in some of these depth positions that we need.
Yeah. And there's some even calling for that maybe Hibbert should be starting the rest of the matches for Atl United instead of Guzan. Yeah, I mean, obviously you have an opinion there. Go ahead.
I thought he should have started tonight. I think, and this goes back to the question that you kind of were, hey, why wasn't Guz wearing the armband? I think it's a thing of he's not fully recovered. He had surgery on his cheek done. That probably means he can't be as vocal as he normally is. So they're allowing Miggy to take that captain's armband and kind of be that vocal leader on the field. I do think for the rest of the season, I think we should mix in Hibbert into some of these games, just because I want to see what we have in him. I want to see if he's an option going into the future, going into next season, or if we need to look elsewhere to pick up somebody. Cohen definitely isn't cutting it. I had really high hopes for him when he came from Maccabi Haifa. He could not cut it with us. I don't know what happened, but he just isn't what we need. And we need to start looking at what we have. And if Hibbert can step up and play well, be a good shot stopper, kind of do a decent job distributing, I think that's something that we should be interested in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree that we need to see what we have, especially it's a slim chance of making the playoffs, especially if we're going at this rate. We just keep drawing draw after draw, but it is to some degree, maybe it's aggressive because Brad Guzan from one end, from a retirement standpoint, from a last games in his career standpoint. But I think, obviously he would have to take kind of that ego hit and take what's best for the team and really be a captain in that sense and realize, okay, what's best for Atl United going forward is possibly seeing what we have in the goalkeeper position so that we maybe have a healthier coffer to actually maybe spend the money in a different position if Hibbert can actually produce and be that guy. So, yeah, it definitely is. But, yeah, your thoughts?
I definitely am. I'm going to leave it at, I think Leagues Cup is going to be an interesting time for us. I think if this staff is smart enough, they will give a lot of opportunity to our younger players. Give Hibbert, give Brennan, maybe a player like Armas, maybe some other players and Edwards, Cobb. We're seeing a lot more of Morales. He's still really young, and he's starting to perform pretty well. He had the one mistake today, which cost us a goal, but honestly, he's been really solid. He's still a young player, and if he can kind of solidify that defense, that's great. That means we don't have to go out and search for somebody else.
Right. Yeah, I think there's a lot there in Morales because not only the physical attributes, but him on the ball. He's left-footed. Majority of his passes tonight were right-footed, and he had that moment where he skinned his man a little bit as well. And this is all playing on the right side, where he's not a right-sided center back. He's just, he's deputizing there, and I think, his service probably still needs a lot of work. There's quite a few balls over the top that, I don't even know who was supposed to be on the end of those.
Yeah.
But, it's also being hit with his weaker right foot. So, hopefully, once he can, really start to kind of maybe cement his place as, the left-sided center back. Maybe it is Noah Cobb as the other guy, but it seems like he's not really in favor recently. It seems like Dyla maybe is favoring a little bit more size, a little bit more maybe flexibility, kind of fluidity in that position. That's why maybe Edwards is coming in as well. But what are your thoughts on Cobb and Edwards? That kind of, there seems to be a little bit more one player in favor.
I definitely see Edwards as somebody that's going to be more of an outside back, or somebody playing in a three back system.
Yeah.
Cobb, I don't think this coaching staff likes his size. He is a way smaller player.
Yeah.
And I think technically he's really good and he's pretty decent on the ball, but I don't know if that makes up enough for his lack of height.
Yeah.
I think that is something that, especially with this team that we have now, I don't think he kind of fits what we need right now.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know when Xian's going to be back, but him with Morales, that's a very nice pairing. That is a beast of a center back pairing. That is a center back pairing with height and can kind of drive the ball forward. Because Morales does a good job of, when he's got an opportunity, he doesn't mind taking the ball forward and trying to make that move and make the pass to break a couple lines, which something we didn't really see a lot of last year, but I think it's something he's starting to develop in his game, which is great to see.
Yeah. No, I think there is a little bit of a difference between Morales and Gregerson, where I think you do see a little bit more aggressiveness from Morales than Gregerson, in the sense that, I think Gregerson kind of goes with the safe ball a little bit more, at least from what we've seen. So, I think that's what you kind of need, though. You want one to be a little bit more aggressive and then one to kind of be that safety valve. So, if we do stick with Gregerson, if he can stay healthy, it would be a very tasty pairing. And if not him, somebody, obviously, Enya Mihai, maybe as that man as well. So, I think we probably might see that pairing probably very soon once Mihai is able to play. But, I think we'll leave it there for you, Drew. What's your final thoughts?
I think we're starting to see this team kind of form from the ashes of what a disaster this season has been for us. And if this team can start building and building and building, I think we will be in a good position. Now, whether that continues into next season, we can hope. But if we can start building belief in these players, kind of start building confidence in them, I think that'll go a long way for the push toward the end of the season. And we still have Leagues Cup here. And if we can start scrapping and clawing some points and some wins out of these games going in the Leagues Cup, I think we will compete pretty well in Leagues Cup.
Yeah. I think, that's definitely the goal is probably salvage this season by trying to be a cup team. And, it's the only cup competition we're in. So, absolutely try to do as well as we can. So, but, Drew, thank you so much as always. Pleasure, man. And, hopefully we can have you on for a win for the next match. So, Hopefully. All right, man. Have a good rest of your night. Later.
Night.
All right. We'll read the chat a little bit, and we will have Nick in the ATL hop on. But, yes, It's All Ordinary says, it felt like tonight in the first half we had no real direction in the attacking third. It just felt like we can't get it over the line. And then he went on, it said, felt extremely lucky to get even one. Yeah, I mean, Ronnie Dyla mentioned that he didn't feel like we actually deserved to get 3 points at all. I mean, it was, again, a pretty dire first 45. And then we were kind of beat for parts of the second half. So, I mean, I agree with the sentiment. I mean, inside the stadium, we're still trying to create as much noise as possible, but it is this like existential dread that you feel. You're just like, man, like, when are we gonna fully click and get it together? Like, at some point, right? Surely. But, ultimately, we were able to at least get, a result again, 3 matches in a row. A person that's ultra positive could look at it like, okay, we're getting results. We're undefeated in our last 3. But it's obviously not good enough. It's long been not good enough. And, the very fact that there were, I think, about 38,000 fans that apparently showed up to the match on a Wednesday night when we haven't won a match in, again, probably about 2 months. That's wild. It is that, the stadium even announced the Newsweek kind of fan poll that we won, where we're the loudest pitch in MLS, and I mean, again, we're just propping up the team. Like, it's just not really something that, like, at this point, I'm really too fussed about in that sense. And Nick, hop in. But it's like that plotted doesn't really mean too much, in my opinion. Like, it really just is like okay, great, like, the fans are helping you out massively. And so I just, when I hear that, it just doesn't really do much in that sense. But here we go. Nick from the ATL. Can you hear me? There. But all good. We'll try to work out some technical difficulties. We'll give them a second. But yeah, everyone, if you have something to say, hop on in.
I can hear you now.
Awesome.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Nick, welcome in. Let us have your thoughts, man.
Warning, echo coming. Defense!
Yeah. What is defense?
I never I never in my life have seen such a pathetic defensive performance as I saw.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously we didn't concede a ton. We just allowed very easy goals, and to have an Olympico scored against us within the first 2 minutes. What was your feeling right after that happened?
Honestly, it took me back for a second. I did throw my scarf down again. I always do that when we get scored on. I mean, it's just a habit. But I went. I try not to break stride in my chant at the time, in the chant we were doing at the time,
Yeah.
because you're in the supporter section, you got to keep that energy going. But I do have thoughts on the supporter section, but we'll come back to that in a minute.
Yeah.
I don't want to blame Pro for any of this, but it seemed like we had inconsistent officiating yet again tonight. That wasn't the problem, but it was a little bit of a factor. I mean, what's this color mean?
Right. I mean, there were some quick yellows for us, and it just really didn't seem like it was the same.
I mean, Mickey got freaking mauled in the second half, and nothing.
Yep. But I mean, as far as that supporter section, I mean, you have a thought on it? Let us know.
I think, and I'm going to probably turn some heads on this. I will say that the we're fucking shit chants started again, and that while valid, we weren't dead yet. Maybe the players heard it down on the pitch and decided to do something about it. I can understand the frustration. I didn't chant it, but I'm like, come on, really? Trying to override one chant with another. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's
now,
tough.
If we're 3 or 4 games down the road and we're in this situation, they'll start chanting it.
Yeah. I mean it is we're in the doldrums. It's not like if they were chanting that maybe when we were 2-0 up, obviously a whole different scenario. Which it would be surprising that we would be doing that. But yeah, getting scored on within the first 2 minutes, I can see why. Would I do it? No, but we're not all one homogenous supporter section. We're not all one homogenous fan, and that's that is the reality, unfortunately, and maybe fortunately, because yes, that's the difference. Like there are differences within the fan base, and that's what makes us an interesting fan base. Because like I just mentioned, the loudest pitch in MLS thing that we we got the plaudit for. I mean, do you find pride in it really at this moment, or is there another feeling?
Yes, to a certain extent, I do. I mean, we show up and we do what we do for 90, and we try to be the 17s that we're supposed to be. I don't know if we're the 17s we need to be right now. Going back to the other comment, but no two people are going to have the same opinion here, and I respect everybody up there, and I just stand by my disagreement with the chant. I mean,
and I think you're absolutely entitled to the opinion of it, and I mean I think what you said, I think, had echoes of like Batman or something as well. I think, right? Like,
that's ironic because this is my first time seeing the mask on Goose.
Right.
And at Glenn's party the other night for the Toronto match, he had Bat Guzan on the bingo cards.
Yeah.
And none of us could mark it off.
Yeah, right. I know exactly. Because who would have guessed that Hibbert was gonna start? But and then as well, obviously, who would have guessed that Miggy was the captain tonight? What was your reaction when you realized that was the case?
When they came out on the pitch, I noticed that immediately. And I turned to Chris beside me and said, Miggy's got the band on again. And he looks at me like, and we continue doing what we're doing, but we noticed it. My thought is, okay. But on the other hand, there was when we had that 20-yard set piece in the first half on the other end, opposite us. Goose was way down 10 yards into the other side of the field trying to direct people, and I'm like, does he know he doesn't have the armband on?
Yeah, which I mean doesn't.
I don't think you have to have the captain armband on to do that sort of thing, but
no. I mean, he's still a leader on this team, but I think having an outfield player that has the armband definitely allows for, at least talking to the ref, a lot easier. He doesn't have to run all the way into midfield in order to dispute a call. Whether that helps us massively or not, it's a whole different conversation, obviously, because did it help us in this match? I don't know. But maybe it is also Miggy has to learn the ropes of being the captain and, being more vocal, being, someone that gets in the ear of any of the refs that we come across, so that, he maybe earns respect of them, but also, I think it also makes sense maybe why it's Miggy. He has at least some status in this league that refs, okay, they're going to at least listen to him, and they're not going to just dismiss him immediately. So yeah, I think there's maybe some sense in it. But yeah, what's your take on Miggy as the captain so far? I mean, from the very limited sample size.
Well, I would like to know for the record here. I know he didn't captain the Prem when he was with Newcastle. I'm very sure he didn't. Did he? Well, he's probably too young to captain before he came to us the first time.
Yeah, he never was the captain. It was either Parkey, Larry, and then eventually, obviously, Guzan. So
I mean, before 17. I mean, that he would not
with
high level to captain.
No, yeah, with Cerro Porteño, I don't think so. Or Lanús, rather, it was that. And then, with Paraguay, I think he has captained for them, so it's not completely foreign. But obviously, he is a player that's, I think, has status around the world in that sense. So, I think maybe it's high time. But
my opinion is based on that, of course, because I didn't want to say something wrong. My opinion is that having captained his national team, there's a difference between captaining your national team, in my opinion, and captaining this side in a league. And yeah, he's got to be more vocal. I mean, granted, as someone who's never played the sport, and just being a casual fan, I'm not an authority on the matter.
Which, totally understandable. But, yeah, I think...
It makes me sound credible, doesn't it?
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't invalidate anybody's opinions. Everyone from, a former player to the casual fan alike, I think, is entitled to their opinion because, yes, as any sort of, I guess, match-attending fan or also match-watching fan, yes, there are things that we all see that are different than the other, and I think that's what's so beautiful about it, is that, we're not going to see the same things, and those opinions are going to inform in different ways for people to be able to see the game in kind of a different light at times, and yeah, I mean, from a standpoint of, just Miggy finally being the captain of Atlanta United when, Brad Guzan very likely is going to move on. Would you like to see if Miggy obviously needs to perform, he needs to be producing, and be someone that
Absolutely.
we want to keep long term. But would you like to see him as the captain moving forward if he does?
I'm not opposed to it. When he was the captain last week, I thought, yeah, of course, with Guzan out with his cheek injury, I understood it then, but that's a decision to keep him in it tonight, and Brad did not seem fazed by it. He seemed like he knew he was still a part of the team and had to do what he had to do.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is not so much that. I'm okay with Miggy moving forward as the captain for now.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, we had that awesome performance from Hibbert last Saturday. Should Hibbert have started in goal again tonight?
Yeah, and that's the really good question is, is it because Chicago's press maybe, needed a player in goal that could be a little bit more nuanced on the ball, a little bit more cultured, one would say. And, Hibbert obviously, had a really good match, but ultimately, still learning the ropes in, a lot of senses. And maybe Brad Guzan, was in Dial's ear that, hey, no, I'm ready. It's, not a big deal. I'm going to wear the mask and, I can, I think Drew made a great point about him being able to be vocal enough possibly, and that maybe is possibly why he wasn't captain, is, if you have surgery on your cheek and you're trying to heal, talking does affect the way that it can heal. You're gonna basically be sore every single time you're chatty Cathy. But in my opinion, I think those are maybe the reasons. But do you have an opinion why maybe he also started?
Well, then was he screaming when he was down 50 yards from goal on the other side of the field, as I pointed out earlier? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, adrenaline is, a crazy mother effing thing. It's it could be something that quells a lot of pain, and so when you're in the thick of it, probably not so big of a deal. But after the match, I'm sure he's icing it, or maybe wearing some sort of wrap, so that he maybe there's some icy hot, which on your face, I don't know. Yeah, you might not be able to.
Oh no!
Yeah, you might not be able to see.
No, I'm glad you said icy hot, not Bengay. But
yeah. Either way, it's gonna be, like it pretty much would affect your vision, I would say. But, I mean, the goals though, Moranchuk and Reilly, how did you feel about those two goals that we had tonight?
Chris, right next to me on the Moranchuk goal, said that should not have went in. And I agree with him. That should not have went in, but it did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was a bouncer, and luckily we got the right type of bounce off the post.
Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, the Will Reilly, right place, right time, awesome. That was exactly we have to call it the capper of the match. It leveled it. We got a point out of it, but it's real impressive to have these youngsters in the fucking 6-yard box where they need to be in a situation like that.
Absolutely, especially when it's a last gasp. Like at that point, yes, as many players into the box, it doesn't matter. And Diala did go for it. He, took a defender off. He brought another striker on, and Togashi and Tiare played with each other up top. We also played with both Moranchuk and Miggy in the dying minutes too. So, yeah, you know, it is at that point, it doesn't matter if we get scored on again. We were already losing. So, yeah, you know, throw people into the box. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
But do you feel like maybe it should have been earlier? Maybe we could have won this match if we had maybe just went for it from the 70th minute.
Well, Tiari almost had that header in.
Yeah.
I can't remember what minute mark it was, but it was oh so close, just a little bit off, you know.
Yeah.
And at that point, I thought to myself, why is it always after Tiari comes on the pitch that those plays happen?
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
And it goes back to a whole discussion about Lottie Lath again, you know, that I'm sure everyone has said, like, what is happening here with him? What is happening?
Yeah, it's
You know,
that.
for as much money as we paid him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I'm not sure
Production.
he's right. I'm not sure he's actually getting paid a ton in that sense. I mean, it's like, yes, millions. He's not in the top echelon of the league, but yes, his transfer fee was enormous, and he has no, you know, he's not at fault for that. You know, only in the sense that he warranted that type of transfer fee, but it's not his fault that we paid that much for him. But I think the main thing, obviously, you know, yes, he is snatching at his chances, but there's also the aspect of you know, what Drew and I were talking about earlier. He's not really getting much service, but then when Tiari comes on, he gets exactly the type of service that he likes, which, you know, that's, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just reacting to you. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, well, I'm seeing you, you know, like, I feel like you're wanting to say something, but yeah, I mean, it's like, it is that. It's like Tiare getting those chances early, which is great, but it is also, you know, we know that it's this. We've seen Tiare start, and it's, you know, it's a mixed bag, and, you know, I think there's, yes, at the end of last season there were some magical moments, but large in part, I think we know that Tiare is not a better player than Atl Utd, but yeah, I mean, basically any of these strikers, they are judged by if they score or not at the end of the day, and you know, Atl Utd, obviously he scored the penalty. I think he was involved in a little bit more of the play, at least from him being on the ball type of standpoint in this match. But you know, do you feel like, you know, are you in the boat that Tiare maybe should see more time, should maybe be starting?
That's a tough question to answer still at this point in time.
Yeah.
You know, because I like Lottie Lath's energy. I like his potential. But as you talked about, the inconsistent service between when he's on the pitch and when Tiare's on the pitch, I don't get it. I really don't. And if I'm noticing that, there's a problem here. You could diagnose this any number of ways as to why that's happening. And none of them would be specifically wrong, but I don't think we know what's really going on here. And we may never know what's really going on here. It may be internal politics within the team. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's a good point. It's a good point, because, yeah, sometimes there is, I mean, it seems like Atl Utd and Miggy are friendly with each other, and they're trying to, you know, play with each other for sure. Moranchuk and Atl Utd, it's a mystery, who knows, but, you know, I would imagine they are trying to play together and, you know, trying to link up, because obviously they, in a sense, they will produce more and in turn probably make more money if they both are producing. So, you know, either way, from that standpoint, you know, if there are feelings that are not, you know, co-aligned, then, you know, that can be and should be water under the bridge. But that's speculation, obviously, and no one knows really for sure. But let's get a little into the chat here. Ingest 100 says, "I was there. The young kids don't play scared." What's your opinion there?
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah, because there is that aspect where they're fighting for MLS minutes. So yeah, at this point, they shouldn't play with any sort of fear. They should be courageous to just, hey, show what you got, because there are minutes up for grabs because the veterans are not earning them, and they're not, earning their keep, and they're rife to be taken. So anybody that's can and is capable, I think, are probably going to usurp some of these players, and I think we saw it already in this match where Reilly came on instead of Click. So and then
now, I'll tell you, if you talk about a baseball team that plays way more games a year, if you're not producing, you're going to get benched and or designated for assignment.
Yep.
Just think of the equivalent of that here, and it's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you have to earn the time when you're on the pitch, and yeah, I mean, unfortunately, in Click's instance, it's just what have we seen really? I mean, like, yeah, an odd maybe key pass here and there, but definitely not enough. Not for someone of his experience. The Colonel says Alexei Marinchuk had a horrible match. Zero creativity at the 10. Part of why they attacked Sputter in the final third. Then he scored, and they gave him the golden spike of excellence. What crap? What do you think about that?
I couldn't care less about the golden spike of excellence. I'm sorry.
It's usually a farce.
We lose at home, and they still have to give it to somebody. I mean,
Yep.
I have zero input on this as a supporter, season ticket holder. So I digress on that. I don't disagree with that analysis, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, it's that. It's mostly anonymous.
It's a fan vote.
Yeah, exactly. But it's mostly anonymous for most of the match in terms of Marinchuk, and then obviously he was given good service and a supporting run from Miggy in order to open up space for him, in order to take the shot in a favored spot for him. I mean, that's some of that teamwork that we would like to see, that's for sure. And those selfless runs, those just unselfishness is really what's going to help this squad. And I think maybe on this other end of it, obviously someone that probably was our best player last season, Saba, but it still seems like he's kind of miscast as that left winger, and just not producing and maybe pressing matters in a sense where it's like he was taken off early. He was one of the first players taken off. I mean, do you feel like as selfless as a player as he was last season in some senses, do you feel like some players, not to call out anybody in particular at this moment, but you can if you want, are some players playing for themselves more than, the crest?
It's hard not to think that to a certain point. Because as I've said time and time again on this stream, at times, most of the time, it's a group of players out there and not a team.
Yep.
I have not seen anything yet that has convinced me otherwise. And I know this is what Glenn and the Five Takes people has said in their Five Takes for tonight's match, is that it's just players out there and not a team. I mean, we come back to that point time and time again. and until they can give us 90 plus minutes of being a team on the field, we're going to continue to say it.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
It's fair because we played together as a team for maybe 20 minutes in this match, and maybe the dying minutes in the embers. So it's that's not enough. Like 20 plus minutes in a 90 plus minute match, like Ronnie Dallas said, we didn't deserve to win this game, and the very fact that we got a point. I mean, did you feel like it was salvaged? Do you feel like we...
Oh, definitely salvaged, 100%.
Yeah. Do we deserve anything from this match?
Honestly, no. I mean, we broke 20 points now. I mean, but we should be a lot higher than that. I mean...
Yes.
I haven't looked at the table tonight. I glance at where the hell we are right now.
But I like that you are updating that marquee behind you, match after match.
that went back here just a couple days ago.
Perfect.
Well, last week it said we effing suck, but and
Yeah.
I did say that coming clean. I did say that after the 0-0 draw, and
I think
we're
you're
in
warranted
13th
there.
place
Yeah.
now.
Not much has changed.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're in 13th place now. Not much has changed.
Yep.
Well, Toronto is a point ahead of us now. DC United and Montreal are behind us at 19 and 15.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we drew a 10th place squad tonight.
Yep.
A 10th place squad, only 9 points ahead of us, and they didn't play that great either. They got some fortunate stuff on our terrible defense. But did they impress me? No, the hell they did not.
Right. And I think that's...
And then...
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, and then we have Charlotte coming in, who is in 9th place on Saturday. They've been falling down the goddamn table.
Yeah. And it's this, think about Chicago and how they're feeling tonight. They gave up the lead twice. And the last goal in the dying embers of the match to a 14th place team before coming in, I believe. So yeah, their fans, all 20 of them, are pissed, and it's one of those man, at least we're not them in that sense, but. Was it, this is, I think, really where I think it would be painful. And I don't think I saw any Chicago fan in the stadium tonight. Did you?
I didn't.
But,
No.
Yeah, they, if anybody had traveled, my God. That, ooh, man. It's like maybe when you went to Chicago, unfortunately. Yeah, but at least Chicago was beautiful, and Chicago is Chicago. Atlanta.
You didn't have to feel that lake effect wind in the goddamn stadium. My goodness.
I mean, I would take that over this sweltering heat. That's to be fair, it was not the most uncomfortable tonight. But walking into the stadium, I was like, man, I'm glad I didn't partake in anything. I'm just beelining it into the stadium, into that just massive air conditioning, because I was gonna pass out if I was out there for 10 minutes or longer. But yeah, and I'm sure Chicago fans or anybody from Chicago is not used to our weather. But anyway. Talk about digressing. That's definitely. But Nick, let's have your final thoughts.
What else can I say that hasn't already been said? I mean, announced attendance 38,000 plus tonight. I read that from our friends at Scars and Spikes.
Yep.
yeah, it didn't feel like 38,000. I'll tell you that. We need everyone again to show up on Saturday, please. This is a big rivalry match that, if we start the right people, which I don't think will happen, we might have a chance against these people. But Charlotte is still a dangerous team, even though Ajamang is gone now.
Yep.
I mean, they still have Pep Beal, so
Right.
It's going to be a tough match, and you're going to want to come because your TIFO committee has something cooked up, and we are loading it in tomorrow at the stadium.
Love it.
I'm not going to say any more. I don't want to spoil what it is, but yeah, we got a little something cooked up for the pregame of this match, because we're not letting a rivalry match go by without making a little bit of a statement. At least we hope it's a statement.
Yeah, the team has to follow that up. Yes. Yeah.
We're trying. We're trying.
Exactly. The fans
the
absolutely.
The supporters are trying.
Exactly. The supporters are absolutely doing their part, and that's really the difficulty. Is yeah, I mean, keeping those spirits, which, I mean, obviously we have, and so, yeah, if any of the players, which we know sometimes they do, and they are watching sometimes, if you're watching, it's not like we're not doing anything for you. It's truly is like,
we love you. If you're listening, we love you, honestly. We do. We don't we criticize, because that's what fans do. I mean, if we're happy, we're happy. If we're not happy, we've got to find an outlet.
yes.
So we nothing personal. It's only drag. No, wrong stream. No, but it's nothing personal. It's just sports in this case.
Exactly, yeah. And anybody that, like, I don't see it, but, in the past there has been, unfortunately, maybe a player that is no longer alive, but, there was vitriol and, personal attacks on players. That's never condoned. But, yes,
No.
critiquing a performance, yeah, as it's respectful as long as you're not going after, them and their personal life, their families, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
absolutely, that is off limits.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly. But, yep, Nick, thank you so much. Pleasure as always. Have a great rest of your night.
Please come Saturday. Please come Saturday. We're back in lot 17 tailgating finally, and I'm going to, let me get the proper name of this before I say anything. Friday night at Wild Leap near the stadium, where All Stripes is having a little mixer with the Mid-City Collective from Charlotte, and I think it's at 7 o'clock Friday night at Wild Leap. It's free to attend. You can buy drinks, of course, but do come by because the Mid-City Collective and All Stripes, we're great friends. We just love hanging out with each other, and they welcomed us with open arms back in March when we went up there. I didn't get to go up for that, but I'm looking forward to mingling with them on Friday night. But when we get on that field, it changes.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. It's friendly in the stands, but definitely, obviously, it's war on the pitch. But Nick, thank you very much as always. See you later.
Thank you all very much. Have a good night.
You too. See you. All right. So that is pretty much the stream. For those wondering if we're going to be doing the wheel anytime soon, yes, when Michael feels better and when he's not on vacation, he has earned his vacation. That's for sure. He has been suffering for an entire month. So definitely shouts out to him and his family. Hopefully they are all feeling better and they are enjoying the sun and the beach. But yes, everyone, that pretty much is the episode of the match reactions. So remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I've been AJ. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you in the next video. Good night.